Alright, second video of the night, back-to-back videos, same night, same topic, honestly. Let's just try not to go as off, I think, as I did in the last video about the pro-abortion versus pro-adoption debate, because I mean it when I say it that, from the studies that I feel like I've been doing and from the knowledge that I believe the Lord has blessed me with of the awareness of the world, it just puzzles me that I feel like we have a generation of parents, young and old, who I swear they are, I want to say just like the young kids, beating down society's door to be heard, beating down society's door to be like, hey, we'll adopt these kids, don't abort them, we'll adopt them, fighting for the rights to have kids, fighting for the rights to have parents, fighting for the rights to, or I should have said, fighting for the rights to have kids and fighting for the rights to be parents. And but even have parents also can flow into there with some kids dealing with whatever they're dealing with, their family drama or so forth. I really don't fully know. Yeah, I feel like all three of those phrases make sense. You have a lot of kids that are fighting for the rights to have parents, and a lot of kids that are fighting for the right or the privilege to be like, hey, give me a big brother, give me a big sister, give me somebody to look up to, give me somebody that cares about me, give me somebody that will guide me. And a generation of parents who are fighting for the right to be like, hey, yeah, don't abort your kid. Just give them to me. I don't care. I'll have 5 kids, 10 kids. I don't care. Just give your child to me. Don't let that child, meaninglessly die like that. And I mean, meaninglessly die is like, hey, like it's a fresh-born now person, and you're trying to cut its cord, like just like that for what good reason? Like, you get the point, And I'm just saying that, I feel like when I literally have done my research on this topic. Oh, these are Airheads, Extremes, Bites, Rainbow Berry. But, so I don't really usually eat like this during taking up a video, but why not? But, it's like it's just the fact being you have a lot of parents that I'm telling you they're fighting for the rights, and I'm telling you that doesn't make much sense to see the parents that are. It doesn't make sense to fight for rights to have abortions unless your life is literally on the line, But a lot of these parents, I can rest assure you, I don't believe their life is on the line whatsoever. They're just fighting for the rights to do it, just to do it because they feel whatever way they feel about it. And I'm telling you, it doesn't make any sense to have that kid baking in you for all those months just to finally abort it when it comes out. It doesn't make sense, really. And that's why I pray for all the parents who go through these things. What would the Lord do? Because the Lord would not be doing what you're doing, what you're doing with these abortions. He would not be doing it. And I know people can do better. I feel like it's more common sense than it is anything else. But I feel like people just really, really do want to just do. I don't want to say what just makes them happy, because I don't understand how aborting your child makes you happy unless you're just a cold, sick, twisted monster. I don't get it. But just when I read these reports about the parents or the mothers fighting for the abortions, I'm thinking to myself, why? Why are you fighting for an abortion rather than fighting for pro-adoption? Everybody should be pro-adoption. Like, I have the phrase that says, as a big brother to the youth, I'm pro into adoption. Or should I say, as a big brother to the youth, I'm huge into adoption. So what that means is, most definitely for all you young kids out there who want somebody to look up to, need somebody to look up to, or just wouldn't mind that extra bit of support in your lives, you can more than welcome look up to me for that, because that's what I've been starring in for years, and I think I've perfected it. You know, and I think I perfected it definitely so much where a lot of people think I'm a saint and I can do no wrong. That's how well I perfected it over the past few years. Um, but rest assure you, I'm a sinner as well, and I can rest assure you, I get things wrong. I try what I can not to, but again, but still born again Christian. Um, last June 22nd, 2018, got baptized. But I try what I can. Lord knows I try what I can to be moved, to be as real, humble, and honest with things as I can, outgoing and charismatic as I can. But I just think it's weird how people are, like I say, fighting for the rights to have abortions rather than fighting for the right to be pro-adoption and give these kids a happy life. I'm telling you, if you was never committed, because I really do feel like, sadly, we live in that culture where you have a lot of people. They were more. I swear on my everything. You have a lot of parents out there who they never cared about being parents. Like they were more focused and more concerned the on the idea of having kids than they ever were all the work that took into having kids. Now, I'm not saying you should never be concerned and worried about the cost but I can rest assure you, God does not want you to let that stop you from building and growing a big family in Christ's name. Now, with that being said, God, of course, wants you to know what you're doing when it comes to having all the tools and the resources and supplies to manage your family, grow your family, build your family, nurture your family, and etc. He doesn't want you to, if you were to ask me, be building families in poverty, which is sadly what so many people have done. They've tried to build families in poverty, and they've literally driven themselves nearly crazy doing it day after day, year after year, decade after decade. That's a cycle and trend that I can rest assure you should have been stopped, needed to stop, and I cannot stand the people who are obsessed with, getting checks from the government for doing nothing. I can't stand that ideology. I can't stand people who are obsessed with having kids just so they can get money from the government to help take care of them. No, you should never have children for that reason. You should have children because you authentically want to, have a child that you uplift in Christ's name and you build up in Christ's ways and so forth and so forth. You should never have children just so you can get money from the government, which is what I do believe, sadly, is what a lot of people have done. They've had children just so they can get checks from the government to help take care of them. And like I say, it's just the way I look at it. A lot of parents have failed, and they don't understand how bad they failed. But that's why I look at all these churches as they have definitely failed their communities. They don't understand how they failed them, but I can rest assure you, when abortion rates are up the way they are, when murder rates are up the way they are, when overdoses and etc. are up the way they are, the church, y'all have failed your communities. And I cannot stand it when you have a church right there across the street from you or even around the corner within walking distance, biking distance, and you mean to tell me you still believe in the same garbage you all this time. It's one thing to just never go in there, but it's another thing to go in there and you're never letting the love of the Father transform you. You're never letting the scriptures transform you. I really want every church out there to realize you have a bigger responsibility than just going and preaching on Sundays or Wednesdays. You need to go out, get out of your church and go pastor these people in their own homes. At least for me, that's a part of what I believe that a lot of parents have absolutely failed at, or a lot of churches have failed at. You need to go pastor these people in their own homes. And I'm not saying that the church is so darn perfect. I'm not saying that the people in the church are so darn perfect. But I'm definitely saying that, this is what we have in this culture, ladies and gentlemen. Sadly, we have these institutions that are supposed to be these higher moral teachers, and they're doing the exact opposite. They're engaging in the same filth as the next person, which, again, makes us no different. And you could even say we are not set apart. Instead we are, I want to say, mixed in with world's filth instead. And I just know that every church out there can do better. But also, I do believe that the church, in many cases, just like and I mean with the people also who run them for the reason why they create them, I also believe another top problem is these people, they love being tax exempt. They love being tax exempt. They love it, and that's one of the top problems that we also have. For the love of money is the root to all evil, and it can corrupt you. Now I can rest assure you, I got money, but it's not money. It's enough money to, help me, eat what I want whenever I want and buy a few things here and there. But I can rest assure you, money ain't corrupted me since I got it. All money ever did was feed the same habits that I already had when it comes to feeding myself with food and buying a few things here and there. And then most importantly, giving back to my friends, giving back to the community. That's all money is for me, is that tool to help me, help myself and help my fellow man. It's not something that I use to corrupt, myself or corrupt my fellow man, or I haven't let it corrupt me, and et cetera, et cetera. I love giving back. I love buying things. I love spending money, but I love spending money on smart and wise things. The one thing that I can assure you that separates the whole equation is that exact same thing. I love spending money, but I love spending money on wise and smart things rather than just spending it because I feel entitled to spend it. I'm not saying that, and all entitlement is bad, because I think some entitlement is good. It just depends on how you categorize it and what you use it for. But I can definitely rest assure you that, again, if as many people in our country were as religious as they claim, you would not have poverty. I can swear to you, you wouldn't have poverty. And to see the poverty that I feel like I've seen, it's just a shame and a disgrace. It lets me know how people just, like I said, they don't truly cherish, their fellow man. Because I know there's plenty of people, particularly through Palm Valley. Shout out West Palm Valley. I'm not talking about Palm Valley Academy. I'm talking about like down, like when you go across that bridge and you're like you go across the bridge and you go past Landrum. I don't mean like you go like where Landrum is, but I mean like you got a Dailies right there or something like that, and you just keep driving down that lane where you see all these other churches and these gated communities and stuff like that. But it's not just that area, towards the beach. It's also like right here in Nocatee and other places like this. You gotta do what you gotta do to, when you see homeless people, try to not only give them a meal, but you have to try to, I would say, do what you gotta do to help them rebuild their lives in whatever way you can. I feel like everybody should adopt at least one or two homeless people into their lives. Because I rest assured you, we're never going to help heal and cleanse this culture if we're not doing that. You're not doing God's work by just researching it and not doing anything about it. I research it, and trust me, I want to do something about it, because I do believe that if all these churches were truly doing what they say they should, if they were truly doing what they're there for, they would be helping heal the community through all these trials and tribulations, help guide the community through all these trials and tribulations, and help heal the community through all these growing pains, and help fix the community when it comes to landscaping and other stuff like that. And I just know the church is responsible for so much more, and the church has to do more. And if the church doesn't do more, then again, these people are going to be held accountable. Because I know one of the top things as a young person that I am, I definitely encourage kids all the time. Like the same thing I'm doing with donating school supplies. Anybody can do it. You can do it right there at 15 years old, 17 years old, even in elementary school. You can, be like, hey, mommy, daddy, or whoever, can we go shopping so I can donate some school supplies to my school or whatever else? Or I mean, the point there is that it's not hard to give back to your fellow man, and it's not hard to just give back, to people and just spread God's love through all the different vices that exist. It's not hard. But most importantly, you guys don't want to. So I didn't focus on school abuse in this one, I'm sorry. But I think everything else I got out is meaningful enough that everybody understands. I got plenty of storage on my iPhone to go ahead and keep going for like 2 or 3 more videos. So I will. God bless, take care. Go get yourself some Airheads, Extremes, Bites. Like them. God bless.